I had moved at the time from Charlottesville to Richmond, and I was finding myself being like, how do I find other female music photographers or other photographers I can link up with? Like, I want to meet other bands, like, besides just finding them online. How do I do that? There's no centralized community for that. Yeah. And then after one semester of being in that grad program, I just remember it was a light switch. It was like, I need to create an online community. This is Maggie Graff, and this is Liner Notes.
Okay, as far as like Richmond and Charlottesville food, because you're back and forth a lot, I'm assuming. Or now you're here in Richmond, right?
I'm here. I moved here November 2019. So, my gosh, a handful of months before the pandemic.
Timing. Good job.
I know. But I grew up in Charlottesville, which is only a hop, skip, and a jump. It's like an hour 15. And I'd periodically come here in college, and I came here once or twice in high school, but I wasn't too familiar and privy with Richmond before moving. So it's been cool. I consider myself still a newbie just because at the pandemic too, I didn't get the full-fledged exposure of, I've been here for 2 years, but it doesn't even feel like I've been here for 2 years sometimes. But I do go back and forth. I go back to Charlottesville maybe once a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you go back, are you checking out any local music when you go?
Of course.
Yeah, I figured
of course.
as much. Yeah. So how often are you shooting and taking photos of artists doing?
That'll lead me into, I guess, my background. So I started doing music photography 2017, like right when I graduated from JMU. I went back to Seville, where I grew up, and I would just do it in my free time. I would go to shows that didn't require a photo pass, go out there and take pictures, and then I'd link up with the band after. I'd like totally interject and be like, "Hi, I'm Maggie. I just took pictures. I'll give them to you for free. Here's my, the Dropbox link or whatnot." And so that's where I developed and honed in on that skill. So I haven't really been doing music photography for that long. But whenever I do go back to Charlottesville, I still like to go to the Southern, no photo pass required. And it's such a fun venue too. It's small, feels very close-knit and intimate. And you have that little back gateway to the band on the right. Have you ever been to the Southern?
No.
It's fun. I'm trying to think of an equivalent here. Maybe the Camel.
Okay.
It's a little bit different layout, but as far as structure, the infrastructure and size and the feel, it's kind of similar to the Camel. So I shoot there predominantly when I go back. And the Jefferson's cool too.
The Jefferson is cool. Yes, one of my, what's the movie called? Damn. My Dinner with Andre. That's the one I like that was shot at the Jefferson.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah. Sean Wallace or Wallace Shawn. I always get it backwards.
Wallace Shawn.
He's got two first names. I think it's Wallace
No,
Shawn.
I don't know.
But super good movie. Filmed at the Jefferson.
Good to know. I like movies.
Inconceivable. Yeah, the dude from Princess Bride. That actor.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Wallace Shawn.
Okay, I knew immediately. I'm like, that's
inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Generally in photography, you could take a picture of anything, right? But you choose to focus on music and musicians. Why? Like, what about it draws you?
Good question. I've always had an insane connection to the music industry. I always knew I wanted to be involved in some capacity. Now, I didn't know off the bat it would be photography. I took some photography classes in high school. I didn't pursue it in college. I did advertising and music industry. So I still had that commonality of wanting to do music in some capacity, whether it be working for a label, doing marketing for artists. I didn't know at the time, and I'm still figuring myself out too, as we all are, But I just gravitated towards music photo just because I think it's such a thrill to be able to capture people, especially performing live. Now, granted, you do have your similar shots you're always going to get every time, but just live performance is so electric, and you never know quite what you're going to experience. So I always gravitated towards that element of it. I liked the not knowing exactly what you're going to get.
I like that, at least with music photography, it's, music is a sound. It's kind of like a moment, but you're capturing a still shot of that moment and trying to convey what that sounded like. How do you go about trying to compose that shot?
Oh man, well, especially with live photography, you can't pose people, which is actually kind of the fun too. I mean, I do portrait photography from time to time, but it's not my bread and butter. I like the fact that it's unposed and you're capturing people genuinely and authentically as they are on stage, whether it be just one person singing solo, very songwriter-like, or with a backing band. Just having the connection of, you know, you're all watching something together in a live setting. So it's an interesting question. I just think it's thrilling being able to watch something happen with a group of people all at one time. And even though it's a still image, you can edit things in a way. Like, I definitely love using like prisms and whatnot. And I think in post is where a lot of people come to life with their style, editing wise, because people can take the same picture, but how you edit it can kind of make it your own too.
Sure.
So it kind of blends into that too, like what you do after you take the picture that you feel stamps your style. Yep.
That's always interested me, because I'm like, you know, I lean towards the video side, and so it's like I can play back that moment. You don't hear it exactly the same, but I'm like, taking a photo is trying to catch that sound in an image, which is super interesting.
It actually started with my mom. Like, I went grocery shopping with her and was starting to see all of the options that are out there. I just was like, yo, like, I can make all kinds of pretzels. I would come up with a bunch of cravings and then start selling them at work. Like, I spent a lot of time like making sure every detail is like perfect. I just knew whatever was gonna come out was gonna be real, because like I live and breathe this like handling creations. It was really important for us to be able to provide something for our vegan community, gluten-free community, our sugar-free community. The pretzels are like pretzel ladies. The cake pops are lady cakes. So just kind of trying to pour into that feminine energy, and that, you know, I can have kids and still own my own business. Like, I can do it all.
This has been what we've been doing. It kind of like with the stuff on the table, it's like kind of random that there's cake pops and chocolate dipped pretzels and jerky, but they're both Richmond companies, like local Richmond companies.
I figured.
Matter of fact, honestly, Smoked Jerky is Alex's company right here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, he's got like 2 different flavors. So feel free to have some. We'll definitely send you home with some today. And then these are Handy Woman Creation sweet treats. So there's cake pops. There might be a red velvet in one. You know, I don't know. We might have got to it, but some red velvet. Then there's chocolate dipped pretzels with all kind of stuff. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay.
We'll make sure that
you guys spoiled me. This is awesome.
Yeah, no doubt. We're trying to spread Richmond into the 5 senses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So if you have an idea of what we could do to like sell smell.
Oh man, I don't even know.
Or touch. Those are the 2 senses.
What did I put in my? You asked that question in the interview prep of like your favorite treats. It's not really a smell, but the Dairy Bar, their milkshakes are so divine. So divine. I think I put that as my answer for that.
We just went there with our son.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
I've only been there once or twice.
Yeah, what kind of milkshake did you get?
I think it was, this has been a minute, but I think it was Oreo mixed with coffee. It was a fusion of 2. Sounds a little, it's like a coffee one. But,
Coffee,
oh yeah.
Oreo
and I like Oreo
joint.
too, so. It was good. It's been a minute since I've gone.
See, we went the other day, and there was like a breakfast combo that was like, it was like what was it? It was a biscuit and a milkshake or something. What was your breakfast thing?
Yeah, biscuit sandwich.
A biscuit sandwich and a milkshake, a peanut butter milkshake.
That sounds divine.
Yeah.
Dry's thing.
Yeah, this man had 3 pancakes with like 3 heaps of ice cream on it. Oh my God. He was very happy. I had like some stupid biscuits and gravy.
It was good though.
No, it was very good.
Always good.
It was. I loved it. But like looking at your plates, I was like, well.
Yeah, you went old man.
I went old man. That's what I did. Yeah.
Have you been to Moore Street Cafe? Their biscuits and gravy are divine too.
Okay.
It's in Scott's Edition as well.
Is it like
near
sausage
Boulevard.
gravy?
I think so.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm very particular because my first job was a host at Bob Evans.
Oh, get out of here, really?
Yeah, and so like you used to get the 50% off meals, and
Right on.
biscuits and gravy was like $2 at that point. So
Are you still like kind of sick of it? Like you can eat it occasionally, or is it?
Yeah, no, I can't eat it all the time. But if I go to a Bob Evans right now, which is like once every 2 or 3 years, I'm probably going to order a side of biscuits and
There you
gravy.
go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, food industry history. I worked at a colonial restaurant. That was my very first gig in Charlottesville where I grew
wow.
up, and I had to wear a bonnet, a whole long skirt. It was horrid. It was horrid. The fried chicken was great. I'm a veg head though, so I was like, I'm so sorry. But looking at fried chicken now, I'm like, I've served so much of it back then in high school
So
and
you had to wear a
college.
bonnet. You had like a whole
get up. They didn't make us talk in an accent or anything, but it was.
Aw,
I
that would've
didn't
been
have
the
that
fun
southern
part.
drawl, but no. It was ridiculous. So looking back, I'm like, that was my first job. And whenever I tell people that, they're like, no, I don't believe you. And I'm like, I hate to show you pictures, but
That's a good one.
it was what I did for a while.
Okay, so now you've got your love for music and kind of displaying that and putting a shine onto that music, and you have this marketing, advertising, schooling. Like, how did those come together, and how did you like create Ignited?
Sure. Okay. So, like I said, I was doing music photography when I graduated. Still didn't know what the heck I wanted to do. And I found this online grad program at MICA, Maryland Institute College of Art. And I was drawn to it in the sense that I could still work full time, make money to be able to pay for school. And basically, I was drawn to it so that I could elevate my music freelance. I was like, I want to get the business principles. Like, I did advertising and the creative element of a business plan at school, my undergrad, but I was missing the key elements of like taxes and accounting, management, all the things that make up
important
of
stuff.
all the important things, right? And I didn't have that taught in my undergrad as much, since it was more fixated on advertising. So I was like, you know what? I want to go back to school and maybe elevate my music freelance. If I want to make this full time, I need to take it more seriously. And I started that. And after one semester, I just remember thinking, I want to do something larger scale, because I had moved at the time from Charlottesville to Richmond. And I was finding myself being like, how do I find other female music photographers or other photographers I can link up with? Like, I want to meet other bands, like, besides just finding them online. How do I do that? There's no centralized community for that.
Yeah.
And then after one semester of being in that grad program, I just remember it was a light switch. It was like, I need to create an online community for the Central Virginia music scene that doesn't just accommodate musicians, it's every single person in the scene. Just having experienced that firsthand and hearing it from others, like, man, I wish there was something besides Facebook or Instagram where we could actually holistically connect in one place, where it feels authentic and genuine. And I was like, I think I can do that. I think I have the capacity. And if I garner some more skills and also surround myself with other people that are smarter than me, know what they're doing, and can help me, I was like, this seems like the avenue I want to continue at. So it was through that grad program I made that transition business-wise.
That's dope. What were some of those skills that you had to brush up on or learn, and then who were some of those people that you leaned on for advice and
oh my gosh.
information?
Yeah, I already touched on it. Taxes and accounting, like finance.
Yeah.
Oh, so not me. I had no idea how to budget things, or just, the idea of opening up your own business account, separating your finances, and all the things that go into making sure your business licensing is in order and in line. And
You gotta be street legal.
you got to be legal, right? You got to do it the proper way if you want to be taken seriously. So I was like, okay, I have to lean onto these things. And oftentimes the people were either professors. I'm trying to think of local folks that helped me. I definitely reached out to who are now called the Ignited brand ambassadors, who helped me at the very start, just get the word out. So their affiliation with helping me create the platform what it is right now was more so just grassroots marketing and helping me in the sense of like, I'm only one person, and it is a one-woman show, so to speak, but it's community driven. So I absolutely always knew I needed to garner brand ambassadors or people who felt in alignment with what I was doing that could help me on the ground. And
How do you use
market.
the brand ambassadors? Like, what are they doing, on Ignited? I know that they are interacting and kind of facilitating relationships with people and kind of opening dialogues, but like, who do you got on the site as brand ambassadors,
Sure.
and like, how are you trying to employ them?
So I try to get a even keel of different industry folks. So we've got a music manager who I absolutely adore. So he has that background of like, how do you support an artist from a managerial standpoint, not actually being a musician. And of course we have a few musicians, like Charles Owens is on there too.
Yes.
Love Charles. So we've got a music designer too, Brent McCormick. Absolutely adore his work. He has done, if you've seen any live music poster in Richmond, 99% sure it's probably Prince. He's so good. He's so good. And he actually revamped my logo.
Oh, nice.
So when you look at the Ignited logo, the bones, so to speak, were somewhat similar. Like I had, as you know, it was something I had designed, and I'm not the world's best graphic designer, but it had the outline of like a piano with a skull. But I reached out to him like, my gosh, beginning of the year, I was like, Brent, help me. I think I want to keep this looking the same, but it just needs to be upgraded and look better. And he was like, I got you, let's do it. So he made some great improvements on it. So now what you look at when you look at the Ignited logo is really his revamping of it. So he's seeped into it that way too.
That's definitely a name I've heard over and over. When
Brent
people
McCormick.
talking about designing
He's wonderful.
things.
I hope he hears this because he deserves all the recognition. He's
I
great.
mean, we're trying to like leave all the cool shout outs in
Yeah.
there, like, for people because, you know, we're trying to bring everybody together in Richmond. All right, so you have brand ambassadors that are kind of laying the groundwork of what Ignited can be, but you also have interesting things in there like a music book club. You've got the events calendar is really cool for people. So what are some of the other, you know, services that
Features and
Ignited
whatnot.
brings to the table for an artist
Absolutely.
looking to jump into a community?
This is perfect. So features, main one I like to touch on is the comprehensive menu of groups. Like groups really make up a whole community platform anyway. The first of which is the pit, so people can post introductions and promos of what they're working on. There's music news, which of course can span either something local going on or wide scale that affects everyone. Another one that I hope will get utilized more often now is the In Search of and Selling group. So say you're a band looking for, like there was someone who posted this like 2 months ago, I think. He was like, hey, I'm a solo guy, but I'm looking for people to play with me when I go out and do live gigs. So I'm in search of bandmates. So it's great for people that are looking for something like event tickets, bandmates, whatever it may be, gear, and then vice versa. If you're selling something, it's like Facebook Marketplace, but directly to the audience that we're looking to capture.
Sure.
So there are groups like that. And then the book club you touched on too. So we just started that. Ryan's a part of it too, which was fun.
I wish you could see her pop locking it.
Oh my gosh, which has been fun. I just started that, a couple weeks ago because I was waiting for the app to roll out to make just accessibility-wise, make it a little bit easier for people to want and be encouraged to join that. But it's a separate group on there too, so you can. It's not a mandatory group like when you join. It's not one that you're automatically added to, but you can add yourself to it if you want.
Okay.
So that's one that's really cool too. And you touched on that. And then the event calendar is another. So having a centralized event calendar for Charlottesville and Richmond, I think, is so needed. I was always scraping the interwebs trying to find where I should go. And Restless RVA does an awesome job of doing just Richmond. Stellar. I don't know who runs it. I love how it's
I just
anonymous,
sent them
but
a message the other day. I was like, you're killing it. I was like,
killing
you're
it.
killing it.
I message them all the time. I'm like, dude, you're doing my job, kind of like posting regularly the events going on every weekend. But mine's just in the app. You just hit the menu and you'll see event calendar, and it's a stream of events going on. But that person takes care of all of Richmond. So I was like, you're doing a fabulous job, whoever you are.
You know, here's the thing. So I wanted to ask you too, because like we kind of came aware of each other maybe like 8 months ago.
Yeah,
like
not that
Ignited,
long
Not that
ago.
long ago, or so I don't know. But yeah, it's like neither one of us, I think, has a unique idea of like helping music. Like it's not a unique idea. We're not the first to invent it.
Right.
And so I like that people like Restless and Ignited and Here RVA are trying to work together instead of like competing with each other, because we're all understanding that the general purpose is to further the music scene. And so like, have you had that same experience, or like does it feel like that?
Absolutely. I've never felt like, especially with Here RVA, I've never felt a sense of, it's more camaraderie. It's never felt like, oh, I can't believe you're doing something that I'm doing. It's
And
like,
yet here you are in our house with no defenses.
yeah. I have never felt like I was trying to advocate for just myself and like make myself just the sole proprietor of Richmond. That would be absolutely silly, especially since I've only been here for 2 years.
Right.
I kind of feel like a fraud
You'd
sometimes
be a
doing
poser
that.
if you did
I
that.
would. I kind of am. But yeah, that would be absolutely senseless to do, that approach. Because we're all, I mean, the Venn diagram, like you've said, of what we're all doing is we have a lot of common ground. So I enjoy seeing what both you and Restless RVA do.
There's so many other people that are out there doing their little part.
Yep.
I feel like, us in the music are symbiotic. Like, you definitely have to have the talent. If there's no talent doing music, what are we filming?
What are we doing?
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But if nobody can see that talent, you know.
Oh, and there's so much
If a tree
talent.
falls in the woods and nobody hears it, it's like, did it
Did it
make
happen?
dope music? I don't know.
Yeah,
It might have.
maybe.
If it
We'll
was
never
If it was a
know.
Butcher Brown tree or something,
Oh my, yeah, then we'd know.
we'd know.
We'd know.
We'd know.
We would 100% know.
On Ignited,
Yes.
I'm sure you've had more people come into the community that you were not aware of before.
Oh, yes.
Have you noticed that there have been cool connections of artists meeting artists or
Yes.
artists linking up? Like, what kind of connections are going on in Ignited?
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I've seen, oh man, a few folks that are musicians. There's one guy, Pat, who's relatively new, I believe. I don't remember when he moved, but I just know that he's, like, I'll see him comment on other people's Instagram accounts like, hey, love this. And I'm like, oh, did you find them from Ignited? And it's like you're making new friendships, which is incredible.
Yeah.
I know one of the people that he commented on their Instagram was a Charlottesville person, even though he's in Richmond. So I was like, that's so cool. You're still forging connections with people like right outside the city that still come and play here. So it's mainly musician to musician. What else have I seen? Why am I blanking? I mean, even just speaking on behalf of myself, like there's been so many musicians I didn't know existed that I've found through them joining the platform. And I'm like, oh God, tell me about all your upcoming releases. Keep me privy. I want to help promote in whatever way I can. So there's a lot of like musician to musician and even music managers. We've had a few new music managers join and they're like, oh my gosh, it's so nice talking to other music managers. You know,
Just
maybe
kind of seeing what they're looking at.
Oh yeah, and
that's-
what their approach is to certain conflict resolution. So you're going to have that sense of community there,
That's
no matter
cool.
what.
I think everybody, looks for somebody to turn to, but sometimes is afraid to ask.
Oh yeah,
for
you
the
don't want to
help.
be the person to always ask.
So it's cool that you've created like a trusting space for people to come into
Yep.
that. How can people find Ignited and then also join Ignited if they want? Like, How
Absolutely.
can people do that?
Yep. So if you look up Ignited in the App Store, whether it be the Google or Apple App Store, you're going to find it. If you just search Ignited, it'll be the top one.
Tight.
You can join free for a month, just see if you vibe with it, and if you enjoy it, you can stay, of course. But you've got that incentive just to try it free for a month and give it a go. Or you can do community.ignitedva.com. That's just the web version. Some folks prefer the web instead of the app. I myself, team app for sure, because you get push notifications and in-app live streams that'll happen soon. So there's two ways to do it, but I usually recommend the app.
Is there a correlation between like laptop, desktop users and vinyl users as opposed to apps and streamers?
I don't know. That's actually funny. I didn't think of it that way.
know.
I'd say the majority of people are on the app. They choose app version, but that's
It
what,
is-
we
it
do
is
have some
way
people
more
that just
convenient.
do the web, and I'm like, okay, guys, do what you want to do.
Hey, man.
You've got
Sometimes
both
you like
options.
a bigger screen.
I know. Hey, I'll never buy anything on my phone. I always tell people that I like buying on my laptop. Maybe that makes me an old person.
I'm Alexander and this is Garrett.
I'm Garrett.
We're honestly smoked.
We found out we lived across the street from each other in college, and we were always cooking stuff in the backyard. And jerky came into play, and I had a recipe that I had messed around with. We went in, that top spice, you can see it is bold. There's a lot of minced garlic, there's black pepper, there's smoked paprika, there's cayenne, there's garlic. There's all these great things in there that you just won't know. It's so textural and so vibrant, and then you bite into it, and it's like boom, and it just lights you up.
And not to be cliche, but we made our product with love. We started this because we both ate a lot of beef jerky. We'd go to the grocery store.
And we still do.
And of course we still do.
Shout out 3 Notch
We're
Brewing.
not brewing.
Collab House and Scott's Edition, our Who Smoked All the Porter recipe that was a companion beer to the Mild Child Jerky. And we were gonna try to take that and rummage that into an awesome little holiday flavor for y'all.
If you type in here RVA, we haven't made this promo code yet, but it will be live by the time this is.
Yeah, you are in the future and this promo code is now live.
Exactly,
So
so-
if you use promo code
Here RVA, you will
Here
get
RVA.
25% off your entire order.
Ignited Insight sessions and Ignited articles are two things feature-wise that I didn't even touch on, both of which are usually highlighting people that want to discuss some of their insight that they've garnered in their years of experience. Insight sessions are basically like video form, so live streams in the app or Zoom sessions. Like in the past, we've had Whitney Asher from the Marketing Mixtape talk about booking strategy, and I hope to get her back and do other marketing-related things. But essentially what I'm getting at, there's going to be a lot more Ignited Insight sessions and Ignited articles, and as you can probably understand, articles are written form for people that prefer to just write as opposed to speaking, so it's a different opportunity
Sure.
for whatever medium you prefer. So there definitely are going to be ones released here as the year goes out. And what's really cool with the app now being out, it dropped July 22nd now, I think, so it hasn't been out too terribly long. But it will enable users to be able to swipe when there's a live stream, like an Ignited Insight session. So they'll just swipe, and then they'll be in the app, and it'll just be a live stream they can watch in the app.
That's cool.
Which is, it just makes everything more accessible. You can
Yeah.
watch it on the go, or like, oh shoot, this is amazing. I just want to be able to watch it now. So
Making it
that's
easy
something
for
that's
people,
in
yeah.
the works. I think that feature of swiping in the app and watching next month or two, I
So,
think.
Are you designing the app? Like,
No.
Okay.
Oh,
'cause
no.
You talked about like skills that you had to learn, and I'm like, I don't know.
No.
I thought
Oh,
you could
my
do
gosh.
it. So that's a good
I
vote of
appreciate that.
confidence, Yeah.
No, definitely not. So during my grad program, I spent a lot of time researching what outlet I should go for when trying to develop this platform. Went through a lot of research, trial and error, figuring out what worked best as far as the user experience, what features it could accommodate. And I used Disciple Media. They're an awesome UK company, backed by a guy. The founder was a musician and producer, so he has that music industry background too.
Nice.
His name's Benji Vaughn, and I believe he started it, I might be wrong, but I believe he started it out of the desire of wanting to have a centralized place to communicate with his fans, with his band. He must have had that great of a following, which is awesome. And he was like, you know what, I want to create my own platform. I don't want to have to rely on Facebook or, Instagram and whatnot.
Smart guy.
Smart guy. Got to give it to him. So not me, definitely not me,
Okay.
but I'm having input of what I think would work, and
But
I
you know
provide
what?
suggestions.
You know where you can't do something and where to pass it
Well,
off.
that's what I meant earlier of like you definitely should recognize where your strong suits are and where your weaknesses are, and just surround yourself with smarter people than you. Definitely one of my biggest pieces of advice.
I'd love being the dumbest person in the
Same.
room.
I require it for what I do. I'm constantly learning new things about Richmond that I didn't know about, and it's because other people are telling me about
Right.
it. So
That's 100% true, because as much as I feel like we're digging into, who's dropping new music, it's always something else that I didn't know about. There's always
Oh, yeah.
another little pocket of artists that run together that I didn't know about.
exactly.
It's wild, but it's fun. I like digging.
You guys do a great job.
Thanks. We're working on it. We're doing some stuff. Oh, you have a question? What's your question? Go ahead.
Hit me.
Well, I mean, I know that you're busy with Ignited, but like you do still take photos.
From time to time, yes.
Like,
Whenever I
how do
have
you balance it out.
I'm still working on that. I think finding a good work-life balance is so hard. People don't realize how hard that is, and I'm still trying to find a good medium there, because I have a full-time job and I do Ignited on the side when I have it's like 2 full-time jobs basically, but one's like a legit full-time job. And then I'll squeeze in music photo whenever I can. So, for example, last night I did something, but that was the first time I'd had a gig in a few months now, I think. Like an actual gig where somebody reached out and was like, can you come shoot? And I'm like, absolutely, I actually have time. It's Labor Day weekend, I have more time. I have Monday where I can do work too.
Right.
So,
And we had Erin on earlier, and
Oh, that's right.
earlier you were talking about last night.
I love
was-
Erin.
Yeah, you saw her. So.
yeah, I just saw her last night. So when you said that, when I first walked in, I was like, no way, I just missed her. She's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Earlier, she's like, who do you
fantastic.
got later? I was like, oh, we got Ant, the symbol, and Maggie. She's like, I love Maggie.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Like I was telling Ryan, she was very open and welcoming to me when I first started doing music photography in Charlottesville. Because like I said, I would go to venues that didn't require a pit pass or anything like that. And sometimes it would be her performing at those venues, and I would always be like, hey, I'm Maggie. Like, I have no problem and like just totally interjecting and being like, hey, here's some content for you if you want it. And it
Yeah.
just was a very good relationship.
You did like a visual piece for her, like
Yes,
album
I forgot
recently.
about that. Yep, for her, what was that album called now? It's escaping.
Damsel.
The Damsel, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Her approach to that idea was really cool. Like tapping on all the different types of art in the Richmond area. Like I know she had a lot of visual artists that contributed a work for her, and it was so cool. She had each song, like it was broken down by song, and she would like pair up a local Richmond artists with one song, and they had to create that song visually, whatever they interpreted it to be, which was so cool. I was like, that is a brilliant way to promote, especially during COVID when your hands are tied and you can't do anything live in front of people. I was like, that's so brilliant and engaging. Yeah, I could talk about her for a while. She's great. She's great. She's very cool.
She is very cool. Oh, thank you, man.
Goodies! Oh my
Yes,
gosh!
So,
Thank
yeah,
you.
So Handy Woman Creations Sweet Shop gave you a box, and there's some honestly smoked jerky in there. If you
Look
want to
at
gift that
that.
to somebody,
Oh,
then
I will
y'all
give it
eat
to friends.
We've got a Here
This
I
is
Be
so
Ama.
sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
This is fun. You have fun?
Very, yeah. I never get interviewed, and also I've always wanted to be on a podcast, and so this is so cool.
Boom.
This is so
Two
cool.
for one.
Yes. Thank you so much.
We have fun. Thank you. This is dope. Everybody good? We sounding good? Looking great.